I'm in alignment with me first and source, God, love, universe. I get to put myself on my to-do list and make sure that I'm doing the self-care, that I'm staying true to myself and I'm not letting myself down. That is true success to me.
Hello, dear listeners. It's that time again when we stroll through the paths of ambition, desire, and success. Welcome to the Dare to Declare podcast, where we explore the enchanting world of giant manifestors who've turned their visions and goals into the stuff of legends. I couldn't help but wonder, how do some people create the lives they've always dreamed of? Is it the magic of manifesting, the power of perseverance, or perhaps just a dash of serendipity? Well, dear friends, grab your coffee cups because we're about to spill the tea on fascinating journeys of those who dare to dream big and make it happen. Join me as we sip on success stories and ponder the ever-enticing question, can we all manifest our dreams into reality, or is it just an urban fairy tale? I'm your host, Debbie Sluice, and I'm here to guide you through the labyrinth of achievement with heart and soul. Ready to dare to declare? Let's get started.
Welcome and hello, everyone. I am super excited to introduce our guest for today, which is Jenny Natyshak. She is a heart-centered leader, retired corporate closet hippie, owner of the Lodge at Lakeshore, and the founder of Inspiring Leading with Love movement. With a passion for fostering love and compassion in all aspects of life, Jenny serves as retreat leader, workplace wellness workshop facilitator, a Trauma Informed Breathwork Facilitator, and a wellness coach, guiding individuals towards self-awareness, self-compassion, and self-love. Jenny empowers others to tap into their inner leader to unlock their true potential while helping them harmonize their success with their well-being. With her friendly and creative approach, Jenny is dedicated to making a positive impact on individuals, organizations, and communities, spreading love and kindness wherever she goes. Welcome, Jenny.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I just love being with you. So this is amazing. And hello to all, and hello to your audience as well. And thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Yeah, I have a great audience, some very dedicated listeners, and they're inspired by individuals like you who have manifested really big, amazing things. So something that caught my attention, I just love playful words like hippie. So tell me a bit about retired corporate closet hippie. So tell me a bit about that. What does that mean?
Okay, so that means that I was in an automotive dealership for 25 years. And I was surrounded by mostly men. I was often the only woman in a boardroom in the environment. So I I lost who I was. Before I walked in there, I was playful. I was spiritual. I led with my heart. I was very just that love and joy and compassion, feminine person walking into that dealership. And over time, I allowed myself to forget that. So I put it in the closet for a little while. And I just kind of toned it down. And when speaking with men that may not have resonated with what I was speaking or what I was putting out into the world or into the dealership, I kind of just I dimmed it down is what I did. And recognized that a little bit, about maybe 10 years before I actually resigned from the dealership and really started bringing her back, that feminine, that spiritual being that I am, the kindness, the compassion, the love, the spreading, what I do. I'm very energetic and I'm very loving. And it could be a lot for people who are maybe not used to that. So I slowly brought her back out. I came out of the closet. I started speaking about my crystals, my tarot cards, my stuff that I was hiding for so long and placing armor on top of me to really keep that down. I just started remembering who I was, if you will, and bringing her back out and bringing that back out into not only the dealership, but now since I've not been in the dealership for a couple years, really living my true authentic hippie life that I get to live every single day.
I love that hippie life. So, what do you think? It probably isn't just the one thing, but what do you think caused you to forget and to allow yourself to dim? What do you think some of those factors were? Was it specifically like the automotive? Was it like what do you think it was?
So I believe, and I've been doing so much reflection on this as of late because I have stepped into such a new identity, and it was actually kind of sad to let go of that identity, which who I was, because she was really awesome and she got things done. But it was a programming thing. It was a conditioning thing and a programming thing for me. I was taught that in order to be successful, that we had to grind, we had to suffer, and we had to hustle. And the more that we did that, the more that we were successful. And I believed it. And it's no judgment towards anybody. That was generational. And at one point I went, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't even know who I am. I'm a robot. I go in, I get things done, I leave, I go very, very checking all the boxes. I'm very, very competitive. I've been competitive. So I needed to compete with these boys who maybe had a wife at home that was helping them. And I was still trying to compete with that. Nobody did it to me. I took it on. I believed that that's what I should do. I needed to compete. I needed to work hard. I needed to prove. I needed to prove, 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 prove. That's what I did. So at one point I was like, what am I kind of stepped back. I started work with my life coach and my energy coach and really started to go inside and start. That's part of the remembering. And I went, oh, what if I don't have to stay at the dealership until I'm 65? Because my dad did, my grandpa did, my great grandfather did, and just started with that curiosity and that play. And that's when I started returning home to myself. And it really was returning inside. And instead of the external validation that I was chasing, the praise, the titles, the money, the external validation and stuff that I was desiring, I started desiring what's inside of me. Who am I? What are my desires? What are my core values? What are those? Like, I just started working with a life coach. I recommend everybody does it. Was really digging those questions back. um, it was really a beautiful time to reflect on me and the inner leadership work that I did, and the taking radical responsibility for myself is what shed the armor, if you will, that I had up. Harmonize my feminine and my masculine energy. Both are important, both get to be here. But I suppressed my feminine energy and I suppressed myself to be one of the guys. I am not a guy, I am a woman. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I heard you say something about success. And so I wonder, like, is your definition of success changed? It sounds like it has. And so you talked about titles, accolades, external validation. That sounds like that might have been what was the golden ring of success that you were chasing before. So what would you define as your success now? And, what's your vision? What is your definition of success?
Yes, it has changed drastically. And my definition of success now is that harmony between my success as an owner, as in business, in work, with my well being and my personal life. It is this beautiful, I don't often use the word balance because we know it's not a balance thing where it's 50-50. Sometimes it's like this, sometimes like this, but at least for me now, it's a harmony. And I think we often, from in my experience, and I've seen it in the women coming into the lodge at Lakeshore, that we sacrifice our well-being for that success. And that's what my definition is, my mental, my spiritual, my financial, everything is in alignment. I'm in alignment with me first and source, God, love, universe. I get to put myself on my to-do list and make sure that I'm doing the self-care and that I'm staying true to myself and I'm not letting myself down.
Mm,
That is true success to me. It's a well harmonized life work in all areas.
right. Beautiful, beautiful. And so I know that you support others. So you discovered this and you're like, oh, this is so amazing. Like, even before we started recording, you were like, I live this beautiful life. I'm so lucky. I'm so blessed. So you want others to experience it. And so, can you share a bit about your, well, I won't say bricks and mortar. It's not bricks, logs and I don't know what to call it. What is that? Logs and logs. On your cabin that you have, this beautiful lodge that you have purchased, and talk about how you manifested that, like from dealership to this lodge. Like, it feels like such a big jump, but maybe not to you. I would love for you to share that.
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you. Thank you for asking because it is, I still have to pinch myself sometimes. And no, I know that what happened was in returning home to myself, in remembering who I was, and following the breadcrumbs the universe set in front of me. We still have to say yes to those breadcrumbs. If we're not aware and we're not conscious of these breadcrumbs that are putting out, then we can never take action. So I started running women retreats and leading women retreats on my vacation time because I have done my biggest transformation and my deepest growth in circle with women. We all just want to be seen and heard and held. And we're often holding everyone else around you. So I just loved being held in a circle in a retreat. And I also loved being able to support and meeting people where they were at within a circle. So it wasn't overnight. I started doing these, taking inspired action to run these retreats. And then it was just like the promise I made myself. I'm not letting myself down anymore. There was an opportunity at work that got me to go on a retreat. That I think the universe said, "Okay, here's a retreat for you." It was a beautiful opportunity, and I couldn't go on it because of my obligations from the dealership. And I went, okay, so now let's revisit this. Like, I would love to run retreats every weekend if I could, to either attend one or to go on one because it's just such magic. So I kind of started doing that. What if? I wonder what it would look like. I don't have to stay here till I'm 65. I don't think I can stay here till I'm 65. I've evolved myself out of that dealership essentially. So I made the decision. And of course, the universe listens when we take action, when we take that inspired action, the universe will deliver. And I put it out there that I was going to go on, I was going to coach women back home to themselves, and that I was going to run retreats around the world. Well, this log cabin came up 30 days after, 26 days after I retired, and
Wow.
I bought it on the 27th day. And what made me really, really happy about that is that I can give back to my community. I love being of service. I love being of service at the dealership. I loved helping the community with all the fundraisers and all the donations that we did. I love community. So this allowed me, and I can still do both, but this allowed me to actually do it here in my community. So that's what I've been doing for a couple of years, is running retreats. And then I get to host other people running their retreats, so that the retreat leader that has their community and a group of women coming in, I'm supporting the retreat leader. And I love those almost as much as I love running my own, because they're there to support the participants that said yes and gave themselves permission to go on this retreat. So I'm there to support the leader. And then it just kind of evolved to workshops, to day retreats, to weekend retreats. It just evolved with meeting this beautiful community of healers and teachers and facilitators. that may have had a brick and mortar at one point and maybe lost it because of COVID or because of circumstances. And now I've opened up the lodge for all of these beautiful men and women that are uh, sharing their gifts and serving the community in this lodge. There's about 8 or 9 of us that run monthly workshops, and it feels so right, and my heart is full every time there's healing going on up there in that loft upstairs, and I hear people opening up, and yes, they're nervous at first, but then when they leave they're so okay, I can do this. Like just giving, just helping, yeah, helping the community heal, and it's been magical.
Oh, so good. So beautiful. Yeah, I was on your newsletter. I don't want to give it away what we're going to talk about in a few minutes, but I was on your newsletter and I was like, look at all of these people that she's gathered. Like, that just must be an amazing feeling. And that you've created rings. So there's you in the middle with your idea, with someone poured into you, and then you then decided to pour into others. So you're pouring into the leaders, then the leaders are pouring into their clients, and it just created this beautiful ripple effect. And so congratulations on your success with the lodge. It's really marvelous, and it's just
Thank you.
a beautiful testament to the power of this work that we're doing. You know, something that you said about leadership, want to go back to your corporate days. And I used to be in, well, I don't say corporate because it was not for profit, but people understand what I'm talking about, like a larger organization working with multi levels of government and so forth. And I grew really quickly. Our organization grew about 25 years ago. Like, the government infused a whole lot of money and we doubled in size. And I became very militant in my leadership because it was out of fear. I was very afraid of this growth, where people are going to be leaving, and they just felt there was competition and a lot of money coming in. And I started to have this self-awareness. I started to do this work. And what I was challenged with, and then especially with Brené Brown, about vulnerability, about the power of vulnerability. And I challenged myself with this question, like, can I, as a leader, be loving? Like, how is that a weakness? Is that a vulnerability? Is that, can a leader be loving? So, this is your area of expertise, and I'd love to have your thoughts on that. So, for the listener who may not have retreats as their leadership role, but are a leadership role elsewhere, how does that thread through around leadership and love?
So if you would have asked me this a few years ago, I would have said no. That was my belief, and that was my mindset, that you had to be stern, you keep your emotions out of that boardroom, you've got to be strong, you got to be the one that is leading your 100 employees or whatever you have, and you got to stand tall and tough. That's when I lost myself. That's not me. I spread love and kindness and compassion all over. So here in this environment, although it's a much different environment and it is conducive to the love because of the amount of facilitators and teachers and workshop facilitators that are coming in here, my responsibility now as a leader is that I show up authentically. That is all of me. So when I started giving myself the permission to feel guilty, to feel shame, to feel anger, to feel again, I was so busy, and it was almost an addiction, my busyness, so that it kept me from dealing. If I was busy, I couldn't deal. If I was busy, I couldn't feel. If I'm not feeling, I'm not healing, and I'm just staying on that robotic type. And that's not what I wanted to do anymore. So, and I tried this for a little bit too. You can't think your way out of feeling. You have to feel through it.
That was really good. Just a minute. Say that again. You can't think your way out of.
You can't think your way out of feeling.
Mm.
I pushed it down for so long, and I pushed down the anger and the overwhelm and the stress and the guilt and the shame and all of those things that us beautiful humans get to have. Like, they all get to be here. And I didn't believe that at one time. I felt if it was negative or if it was bad, then I pushed it down and I couldn't show that. And now when I've been into embodying the words, like, and another, what I mean by you can't think your way out of feeling, intellectually, I knew what to say. I could say it all day long, and it's almost believable. But when I embodied now what I'm doing every single day as a leader and in this body, I know how it feels inside my body. I'm feeling instead of with my intellect, getting myself out of or talking myself in. Like, you can't think yourself out of feeling. So I feel it. I feel it all, and I show it raw, the rawness and the vulnerability. I love on and have compassion towards my guilt and my shame and my vulnerability. That makes me who I am. And when I started loving on it instead of resisting it and pushing it down, it dissipates a whole lot faster. It goes away. What we resist persists. We've all heard that in the growth world here and spiritual world. And without resisting it, it allowed it to just kind of float on by, that feeling. But allowing it to be there is what I did. And allowing it to be, that is a part of who I am. And even at some points, thanking it. Let's talk about my armor for a minute. I don't have shame or guilt around having that armor on, and I actually thanked it. It was a protective barrier. I needed to have that, and it kept me safe and it protected me. And I don't need that anymore because I've have enough self-confidence and self-love, and my self-critic is out of the way now, and I'm stepping into my power of being a strong, vulnerable, feminine leader, which is so much different than the leader that I was. And I do have a little protective barrier because we still need to protect our energy. I have a little love bubble around me that comes with me everywhere I go, and it's transparent. So the love and the kindness and the compassion can come through, but the negativity, which still is out there, it's going to be out there. It's how we deal with it. It bounces off that love bubble and returns to sender. It's not mine to take on, and it's also not mine to dim my vibration or my frequency to match anybody else's. So I'm able to hold my frequency and my positivity and my love and compassion up here, and it's a much better way of leading. And the last thing I'll say is when I started working on my inner leadership, how did I lead my day? How did I lead my habits? How did I lead my triggers? How did I lead my reacting, or is it responding? So I took radical responsibility for all of that came up in me. And with that consciousness and being conscious and aware of it, I was able to go, oh, okay, recognizing again what's mine and what's not mine. But when it's mine, I'll take it on. Yeah, I probably could have dealt with that better. And triggers, I actually learned to really, really love them. I never waste a trigger. They're there to teach me what still needs to be healed within me, or what opportunity I still have. I get to grow. In what capacity can I grow? If it pings me and it's like it's a little ping, I call pings triggers. When it's there, I go, oh, why does that still sit with me? I explore it. I look inside. I don't blame the other person for triggering me, because really, I can allow myself to be triggered or not. And that's really, really helped as well.
So good. I was listening to, I think it was TikTok or something, and it was Simon Sinek. You know, he's one of being
Yes.
famous with the TED Talk about people don't
Your
buy what
why.
you do, but why you do it. And he was
Yeah.
saying that women make better CEOs, and he said because they naturally understand his work more so than men. And then that makes me think about this idea of showing up authentically. What's your why? Which is what I'm hearing you say. It's really about loving yourself first and loving all parts of yourself, even parts that you maybe naturally you want to resist, but loving all of that, and then you're going to be able to offer that love and compassion to others. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And that's what I would love to put out with the Leading with Love movement. That's what it's all about. It's about harmonizing our success with our well-being and doing the inner work, the inner leadership work. Because if one, and we're all leaders, whether you're leading a business, a corporation, your household, you're a teacher, we are all leaders. But if we can't lead our emotions, if we can't lead our triggers, if we can't lead our thoughts and our habits, how are we supposed to lead anybody else? And that's what the leading with love is that we can ask ourselves, oof, I ask this often when put in a situation and I don't know the answer to, or my little knee jerk reaction wants to come out because we're always going to be growing. I have to practice this stuff every single day to not react to something and get on the defense and explain and validate myself. I just ask, what would love do?
Mm,
It's a shift in mindset and in heart set because our we have a coherency with our brain and our heart. And a lot of like that is a I say often dropping from my head to my heart. Like when I get out of my logic, I let the monkeys do whatever they're doing, my monkey mind go off and really just get into my heart and even place my hand on my heart to say, okay, I'm here. I'm here right here. What would love do?
mm,
And then respond that way or make a decision in that manner.
yeah, yeah.
And it's men and women that I'm seeing that are really kind of shifting that paradigm. Like a boss doesn't have to be a leader doesn't have to be everybody. A lot of people are waking up and a lot of people are doing that inner work right now. I see it all around me. It's so beautiful to witness, men and women. And the more of us that are doing it, we're not believing that and that old paradigm anymore. We're not believing that you have to be harsh and you have to smack your ruler on the desk, if you will, like a teacher and when we were growing up or whatever. It could be done with just that compassion and kindness.
Hmm.
And you get a lot more. What's that? I always mess up my expressions, but don't we get a lot more with honey than
Yeah, vinegar
what's that expression?
or something. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was listening to one of my mentors, Patty Aubrey. So she's with the Canfield Group, and she was saying that when she has an audience, she'll say, "Who wants more responsibility?" It's usually women. Like nobody puts their hand up, right? Like, "Oh, I don't want any more responsibility. Thank you very much." And then when she goes through and talks about exactly what you're talking about, where we get to be responsible for how we respond. And I love that you said that. Like, I don't blame others for triggering me. It's my choice on how I respond, which is my responsibility. Then you realize
Yeah.
that by taking that responsibility, that's going to absolve you from so many other maybe responsibilities that we've taken on that aren't even ours. And yeah, so thank you so much for all that. And so you're leading with love. Can you talk a bit about that? How does that fit together with the lodge?
Well, the Leading with Love is a movement that I really like to take out into the world and outside of the brick and mortar.
Right.
So we offer online, starting up in January. I will be doing just monthly check-ins with the community, building a community online presence that outside of the beautiful connections and face-to-face work that we get to do in the lodge. I just wanted it to be able to go outside of the lodge as well. So the Leading with Love movement is the work that I'm doing in the lodge and outside of the lodge. I started working with organizations and non-for-profit and other bigger organizations coming in and doing talks for as a guest speaker in around that harmonizing our success and well-being and giving ourselves permission to pause. We didn't even talk about that yet, but I never gave myself any permission to pause when I was on robot mode there. And it was just the same thing every single day. It was like a defaulted Jenny that was not by design whatsoever. I'm living my life now by design, and I'm giving myself the pause and I'm allowing myself without the shame and guilt. It still comes up every now and again, but I talk myself through it in here. And but it's around bringing it worldwide and getting in the wellness fairs that I'm a part of and the corporations and the organizations is really bringing that out out of the lodge. The Leading with Love movement is a movement. Can we be leaders and lead with love?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can we drop from our heads to our heart? Can we lead our own emotions and our own can we take radical responsibility for ourselves as a leader so that we become even better leaders when we come back from with a full cup back into the world because you've done your self-care,
Right.
you've done your morning routine, whatever that looks like. So those are the things that I'd like to spread out of the lodge into the community and beyond and beyond, and really kind of have that supporting place within it's a private Facebook group right now. That's how it started out. And we're not just celebrating our wins in there. We are actually discussing and admitting and giving ourselves permission to talk about our struggles too, because those get to be here too. Life will happen. There's grief, there's sadness, we really just, it's a safe space for us to connect and to not sugarcoat. Be vulnerable, be real, be authentic. What is up for you? All of it gets to be here and really kind of share in that way
Oh,
on the Facebook group.
that's awesome. So I'm going to drop our surprise in a minute, what
Okay.
we're up to. But you are an expert retreat facilitator. I've facilitated workshops. I've got some ideas of things not to do with workshops. I'm sure you've got some things that you've seen as mistakes that people have made with retreats. When you said pause, that's one of the things actually that when I ran one of my first retreats, I was still in that corporate mindset and also wanting to please everybody, and so I just packed it. I mean, like they were breakfast at this time, then this time, and then do a vision board, and like it was just like jam packed and didn't have time for pause. So I know upon reflection that that was a mistake that I made as a retreat leader. Can you just give just even 2 or 3? What are some common misconceptions or mistakes that people should avoid when organizing a retreat?
Well, that would be what you just described, would be my number one.
Okay,
They're not there to work. They're there to pause. They're there to rejuvenate and relax. There has to be some of that.
love it.
And especially for new retreat leaders, they do. They have so many gifts that they want to share within the weekend, but it's a weekend. So what I coach them on is kind of giving yourself a theme and making sure there's some free time. Then your schedule doesn't have to stay so rigid. And at the same time, allow that to shift too, because I did the same thing at the beginning 2 years ago, coming right off of the grind, and I was doing that as well. And it was like I had to have it, and it was like I was so attached to the outcome, and I'd plan all these things, and then energetically, you got around these beautiful women, and you had to let it all go and just be present and just kind of flow in the energy that presents itself
Right.
within that. So allow yourself that flexibility and don't be rigidly attached to the itinerary, to the anything. Yes, planning is important, the food, the timing, the whatever. And most importantly, don't try to do it by yourself.
Mm,
Get a co-leader, get a co-retreat leader, get somebody that you can, because um the whole experience is so much better. You get to create together, you get to design together, you get to bounce ideas off of each other. You're not doing the whole thing alone. And then when you see the end result, when it comes into this beautiful little landing page and you've got all of the equal amount of co-creating magic with your host, you get to celebrate it with somebody. I've seen some people try to do it on their own, and it's a lot of responsibility to hold that, first of all, to hold those women and to be there. And I always love to have a partner. I've always had a co-host. I've never done one on my own. If someone needs a little bit more support, then one of us can go off with that person that may have had a breakthrough. So there's that reason too. So I guess those are my 2 things
yeah, those are
or 3
great.
things.
Yeah,
Whatever. Yeah.
those are wonderful. Thank you for that. Very helpful. I love that your expertise in that. And I hadn't thought about it, but that's what happens when people hire me to do the vision board piece. I become their co-host,
Mhm.
because I run that day. But then you're right, like, so I've done one-to-one coaching afterwards and just supported, or while they're doing their sessions. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So that is a great segue into you and I
Sure
working
is.
together. And I mean, it just felt together. Like we just had a conversation and it was like, yes, let's do it. Yes, let's set a date. So you're hearing this. This is going to be dropping. This would be an amazing gift for yourself, for another special couple of women in your life. We only have 12 spots, and I know there's already been interest, if not already booking. So these are going to, like, it's going to sell out. Like, the value is so good. It's January 3rd to 4th. So if you're a mom with school age kids, they're still on vacation, but you need a break. So that way you can have somebody watch the kids, for the Friday to Saturday. So it's the 2 days, but it'll be full but relaxing. We're gonna definitely incorporate all the things Jenny was just talking about. Jenny, what do you want to add about this beautiful experience that's coming?
I love the idea that it is just one night and we'll still be able to get everything in because we're almost making it impossible for the women out there to not say yes to themselves.
Ah, yeah.
And I know how hard that is, but it's giving yourself permission to go on a break and a pause. The vision board, I'm so excited for that portion. I'm going to be leading you in breath work and meditation. It's going to be a very such ease and flow for a couple days, and it's only one night, which allows the investment to be lower as well because I usually run 3 nights or 2 night retreats. So this is a beautiful opportunity right after Christmas, right after running around. Hopefully you are on a vacation or a break, and that you can come and take care of you. Like come with a friend. That's always fun too. There's shared accommodations. You're staying overnight. It's this log cabin. It's like look at it as if you're going um, for a long extended self-care, but not too extended. So it's totally doable and it's one night. So come as you are, all of you, and bring a friend, bring a mom. There's a lot of mother daughters that come
Mhm.
together, and they just form such a beautiful, more even stronger bond with one another because of the work that happens. And it's not all work. It is very Debbie and I will meet you where you're at and we will support you, and you'll be supported and make the friends that I have made on retreats are still my friends now. It's a like-minded thing that we were pretty much in the same position when we went into that retreat. They are still friends now. You just bond so nicely when you leave the masks and the armor at the door. They don't need to come in, and you just come in yourself, exactly the way you show up.
Yeah. So it's boutique rustic. Like, it's like Jenny's got such a gorgeous space. A lady in my mastermind, she's a designer, and I said it's like the consummate Canadiana. She's like, I never heard of that. I don't know if I made that word up, but it feels so iconic Canadian in terms of where it is, how it looks, the way that Jenny's got it. But then the content is just going to give you that refresh, a beautiful way to begin 2025. It's going to feel fun. It's going to feel playful. It's going to feel inspiring and motivating. And you're going to go home so that you can carry that same feeling that you will have experienced at the retreat into your home. And then we'll have this beautiful new community that Jenny and I will obviously stay in contact. So the location is just it's between London and Windsor. Like, where would you say? How would you describe where exactly you are, Jenny?
Yeah, that's between London and Windsor. There's it's about an hour and a half from London west. So if you're not quite into Windsor, Tecumseh area, you're before that. So past Bell River, past Stony Point, past Bell River in Emeryville. So it's right on the main road. It's real super easy to get here. and it's set like way back on off the road, so it feels like you're in Muskoka. Like it really does. It's just a peaceful when you walk in the doors. Um, yeah, so it's in Emeryville, just before Windsor.
Bring your comfies. We'll have like the pajama party on the Friday night, and it's just going to be a wonderful, wonderful time. So thank you so much, Jenny, for being here, sharing your wisdom. I'm so excited to work with you. This is going to be an amazing retreat. Working with an expert like you is going to be such a joy. And I just appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me. And I knew the day that we met, and I think it was you came for a visit to the lodge and we sat outside. And I knew that our energy and our connection, that in divine timing, we were going to be doing this. And here we are. We didn't force it. We didn't push it. We didn't try this date. It just came so easily, with ease and flow. Working with you as well has just been such a pleasure of that. Yeah, let's try this date. Yep, it's available. Like it just flowed so nicely. And I know that energy and that flow and that ease is going to follow and trickle right into the retreat. So thank you for having me as a guest and for facilitating this and leading this retreat with me at the beginning of the year. It's going to be a magical retreat with you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, my friends, for tuning in, and take care of you. And don't forget to dare to declare. Today, we've delved into the realm of manifesting giants, exploring the power of declaring our desires to the universe with unapologetic boldness. But before we bid adieu, I have a little something special to share with all of you dreamers out there. Introducing the Dare to Declare Vision Board magazine and online DIY Vision Board course, your ticket to manifesting greatness in style. Picture this: flipping through pages filled with inspiring images, empowering quotes, and step-by-step guides to help you create the vision board of your dreams. Whether you're yearning for that spacious condo with a view, or a love that sets your soul on fire, our magazine is here to guide you every step of the way. Dive deep into the art of manifesting with our exclusive online DIY Vision Board course. Led by manifesting expert, yes, yours truly, and seasoned dreamers, this course will teach you the ins and outs of creating a vision board that speaks to your heart and soul. So what are you waiting for? Join the ranks of the manifesting giants and dare to declare your wildest dreams to the universe. Head over to our website, debbiesluice.com, and grab your copy of the Dare to Declare Vision Board magazine and enroll in our online DIY Vision Board course today. Until next time, keep dreaming big and daring to declare, because in the world of manifesting, the sky's the limit.